And we are live.
Hello, folks. It is the Burger Man talking. The man in front of the camera is actually an imposter. Do not trust that man.
And we're back.
Speaking of being sus and an imposter.
Yeah. And I'm gay. Actually,
Same.
So, yesterday, I was at my girlfriend's house in the evening, and I'd run a game of City of Mist for some other people.
And you sucked her dick.
She had been running a game for stuff there, and we played this phone game, called Make It Meme, which is like it's like a communal phone thing where you get like a meme template, you need to do a meme of it, and then people vote on which ones they like. And so what I started to do, there was one where it basically said, it was like presidential alert, like a phone message, and then you can write down what it says. And so naturally I wrote, I'm gay Obama, I love dick and balls, and people thought that wasn't funny. So naturally, what I then proceeded to do was put gay Obama into every single meme that I did. And eventually,
Mayo baller move.
Literally everyone at the game table was just putting gay Obama into every meme for like a whole round of the game.
LMAO peer pressure.
Pissing ourselves
LMAO
laughing.
actual peer pressure.
Well, it's like the reverse of peer pressure, because I pressured all my peers. It was me pressure. It was burger pressure.
It was domino pressure, one could
It was
say.
not peer pressure, but rather pressuring your peers.
Yes.
I prefer my name. I prefer my word better. Domino pressure. As in, you topple a set of dominoes and it keeps going.
Anti-Semitics in Paris.
Wait, what? Wait. Hang on.
Incredible.
Catching up with another fucking... Please, let it be good.
I love Kanye becoming an anti-Semite. Have I said that? That's one of the funniest like gimmick account character arcs. He's such a fucking moron.
Yeah, and it's
Also,
not even like Ice Cube back in the day where he was at least subtle about it. It's just balls to the walls, no breaks.
I hate Jews.
Yeah. Did you see that whole interview with him about the Jewish doctor where he was trying to avoid mentioning it and then just full out goes like, it was a Jewish doctor. It's like, bro, what are you trying to say, bro?
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
Sorry about that, Ignaz. I thought that was important. Please do feel free to send me another message.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
What's
Disco Elysium. I've played that. It is a good game. I've done a whole playthrough.
It may be the best game I ever played. Like, I'm not even joking. Like,
I don't know if it's the best game I've ever played, but it's definitely in like my top 10, if not top 5.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely the case for me too.
There is only one thing that I don't like about it. One thing that I can give it absolute shit on. You can't change the control scheme. That annoys the fuck out of me.
Okay, yeah. I've never really thought about
I was
that.
kind of looking forward to buying it, but the whole kind of situation about their top devs being fired by capitalism and shit was...
All I have to say is, there is an age-old tradition that was even had its golden age back in the 1600s. These men would wear strange hats with peg legs and sail ships. Perhaps you should.
I do.
You heard me, Hearties.
I am going to buy the new Disco Elysium though, because from what I understand, by some of the people who did get fired, they were like, "Yeah, the new Disco Elysium is still going to be good." and it's still going to have like an anti-capitalist message. Because if the capitalist can make money off an anti-capitalist message, that is what the capitalist will do.
Yeah.
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 I am kind of curious, though.
You know, when like from my perspective of playing the game, right?
Yeah.
While the anti-capitalist thing is there, I like that as far as like politics go. The only thing that it outright says this like has no redeeming value is fascism. Everything else is just kind of because none of like the quote unquote factions are what you would call good people.
Yeah, I like that about, like, it's definitely an anti-capitalist like social commentary game, but it's pretty much the definition of not shoving its politics down your throat while absolutely shoving its politics down your throat.
Yeah, like you want to know one of my favorite bits of the whole thing?
Yeah.
Do you guys care if I like talk spoilers and shit? Because I don't know if like
Posh, are you playing Minecraft?
Yes, I'm playing Minecraft. I'm playing.
Because it sure as shit looks like Minecraft on my screen.
Yeah, it's probably very blocky.
Yeah, I think my favorite encounter in the game is like when you find out who actually killed the whatchamacallit, the...
Oh, dude, don't spoil this much. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Never mind.
That is like a spoil. I was like, oh yeah, it's when you talk to Measurehead or some shit.
No, I was gonna talk about the Communard. The Communard.
Yeah, you just spoiled the game. You did the thing that I told you not to do.
Well, I didn't say any shit.
What a Chad.
Anything it's like it's like a criminal going, I didn't say anything incriminating, and then literally moments earlier he goes,
this is like fucking
I'm sorry, I'm stupid.
OJ publishing the book called If I Did It. And like, I did it is just in all caps red letters.
Fuck.
And it's just a book describing how you would have done it.
I'm an idiot.
I love that happened, by the way. I just fucking...
Yes, very much so.
The fact that this, like, actually exists it's just so amazing. Man, I'm gonna show you the fucking... It's just...
Yeah, well, I can't spoil it now, I can't spoil it anymore.
Yeah, you cease spoiling it.
Yeah.
Do it anyway.
I wish I could talk about it, but I can't, so...
Yeah.
Maybe after the stream.
You can DM me about it. You can put it in spoilers.
Okay, I'll put it in spoilers that way, like I don't...
Yeah. But obviously I won't be able to read it on stream because then people would see the spoilers, so...
I almost want to DM it, but no, never mind. But you know what?
I'll put it in Foreign. My sister came back home. She dyed her hair red. What the fuck are you laughing about so badly, Burger?
He immediately he posts on my way, just right away.
LMAO. I'm not talking about like actual redhead. Like it is actually red, but I will admit, like, I do not compliment my sister. I do not have that kind of relationship with her where we compliment each other because we hate each other's guts. Let me be real with you. But like, I will admit, like, she's not like completely dyed her hair. Like, it's not a full dye. She's still got a lot of her original hair color on it, and I'm like, you know what? That actually looks good on you. That
Even
actually
Posh
like
is fucking
Slay Queen
Posh's
energy.
sister. That's incredible.
Oh no.
Yes.
But,
showing that I am a true Frenchman.
So, to touch around on some news, people might not know, but Elon Musk bought fucking Twitter.
Yeah, I heard about that. It's that happened.
Oh wait, no, really? He
And,
bought Twitter?
I watched,
No, man.
and
I watched
I've been,
Dogecoin go Zoom.
yeah,
Hearing all about it.
I've been seeing people going, "Oh, this is literally the worst. Free speech is dead." And-
that is so dumb.
Yeah, and what people don't realize is literally nothing has changed. Twitter is still the same stupid fucking hellscape it's always been.
That's a funny thing about all this. I mean, I get that Elon, only one billionaire having access to it, who has more of an overt political agenda, might raise some concerns. But people are like pretending that Twitter wasn't owned by the billionaire capitalist class before.
Yeah, it's like, who cares if it swaps hands between multiple billionaires to one billionaire?
It's also, this is the funniest thing. I saw a tweet today about like, oh, they let the person go that found out that right-wing content is being promoted on Twitter way more than left-wing content. And it's like, yeah, this has been the case for years, and Twitter has already not done jack shit to address that.
Mm-hmm.
How is that any? There's literally no difference. And now they're calling for like, oh, but now we need to actually there's people campaigning for like lobbying the government in the citizen type way. We're like, oh yeah, now we need to take control of tech platforms. Did you see fucking Shu's video?
Yeah, I saw that, and it basically just reeked of "I told you so."
Like the literal Department of Homeland Security has been implementing measures to like literally actually censor people who are, they explicitly say, critical of the government. Like, this
Pretty cringe, man.
I basically have had to keep biting my tongue anytime I'm near my SRA chapter from going, "I fucking told you so."
Do it anyways.
Yeah, I mean, this is like people not understanding that, of course, this is going to be used again. Even back when all of the people that, let's take a very simple term for this and call them SJWs, when they were talking about, we need fucking media censorship. Even back then, it was mainly used to silence leftists. Even back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all liberals.
You think they care?
They're all liberals.
Yeah, it's like I keep telling him over and over again. You have to remember who is making these laws. If they are going to put it in place, they're going to do it in an ambiguous way so they can control what everyone has to say, not just
speaking of which, I had a really... So it all started off with Elon Musk and shit, and like coming out like bad working conditions, like going over the weekend crunch shit. And so we got into an argument around... Excuse me. Holy shit. No. Fuck me. Ends me. Fuck me or end me. I don't care at this point. But like, we got into an argument...
Fuck him and end him at the same time.
Yes, exactly. Commit necrophilia on my ass.
Yeah, brother.
But like, we got into an argument regarding crunch specifically, and so like, I've seen these guys talk about crunch when it comes to video game developers before. They have constantly been against crunch, and yet these same fucking guys, when it comes to software developers, are like, LMAO, just because it's fucking Twitter, are like, LMAO, they deserve it. Because hacktivism and shit. I'm like... And, rightfully I pointed this out, and this started a whole fucking argument where I lost my shit because someone was insinuating that I had no economic viability, like I had no job. Like they were saying, like, you are jobless. Or at least they were implying it. And I kind of lost my shit because, bruh, don't fucking say that kind of shit to me, okay? I do not handle that shit well. And he was like, well, I've got like 5 different experiences in 5 different markets. I'm like, it's fucking irrelevant and okay, fucking whatever. And then I lose my shit. I get reprimanded of all things because I said go fuck yourself. Well, they just said like, I don't think, like they were implying like I don't think you guys even have jobs. It's like, anyways, and then I get into a private conversation with one of the guys, and I try to have a good faith argument with them. All right, I try to have a good faith argument. I try to explain my points and whatever, and it's like they constantly keep pushing. So first thing I found out from them. First of all, they're kind of anti-unions. They say unions are hit or miss, which is, first of all, a red flag to me. And second of all, I ask, okay, what, like, because they start talking about labor laws and shit, and I'm like, okay, what country do you live in? Sweden. Fucking Sweden, of all places. And then I'm like, okay, kind of second red flag, kind of a good country to live in with good worker laws, I guess, and fuck you, Winter. But basically, so we keep going on this, and I try and explain like what my views on crunch is, like what crunch is, and I've had this conversation with Winter and other people. Like we were discussing like how I should respond to him when he present these ideas, and they actually gave me like full-on definitions of like crunch culture, and mandatory crunch. And it's like we go through that, and it's like, and I start getting to the point where it's like I'm starting to understand that management is the issue when it comes to crunch, at least when it comes to crunch culture and mandated crunch.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
And then he goes like, I don't see this as a problem, especially in my work. And then I go, okay, what is your work? I kid you not, managing people.
Yeah,
management. I'm like,
I didn't make a mistake.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, this explains everything now. You know what? Fuck having a good faith argument. I just cannot be bothered with you anymore. Like, okay, you're part of the problem. See you, cunt. Like, literally just like that. I was like, I'm not having this conversation with you anymore. I cannot take you seriously. You cannot take me seriously. Let's just fucking leave.
One of my funniest political moments was in, it was actually this year, at a Warhammer 40k tournament where I was working. And
oh yeah,
this guy comes into, like, it's just like the coffee section, where they get coffee, you know what I mean? Pretty straightforward. This guy who is like clearly an ANCAP, he's talking about like Thomas Sowell and shit. He thought he could have like a conversation with the people who, like me, were there, and very clearly like socialists and communists. And he keeps on. It was like the whole Jordan Peterson versus Slavoj Žižek thing, where we were just talking about completely different shit. And he was like, "Yeah, but when you have the government, and the government it makes incompetent." And because like, yeah, we don't trust the government either. We don't like the government. The government is supportive like the capitalist status quo. And he just kept on like hammering down points that we fully agreed with him on. And then when we actually got into a conversation about the merits of capitalism as a the argument was basically this: if you make medicine and you have the option of selling your medicine for more money than the competition, you do it. Because if you don't do it, you are at a disadvantage. Your competition will make more money, they will be able to expand more quickly, gain a bigger market share, eventually buy you up. And this is an argument this man had never encountered before in his life. And it just would not process in his head.
Damn.
It's like this clearly had never talked to an actual socialist, ever. But had very strong opinions about socialism. Didn't know what a co-op was, but was against them. Then described a partnership structure and how that's how you should do it, which was basically a co-op.
SMH my head.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It was really painful. Well, like, God. Oh, but that reminds me, like, the server I was arguing about the whole kind of crunch. crunch culture and why it's bad. Free Swedish people now. There are free Swedish, quote unquote, people, right? Because fuck Swedes. But like,
I agree.
So do you have like
like,
one argument with
talked to all
Swedish
three of them.
people, and
They
then you're
seem
like,
to
Swede,
hate
they're
Sweden."
Swedish and not humans. They're not really
Yeah,
people.
exactly.
I hate them.
Exactly. No, exactly. It's exactly that.
It's like,
But, like, no,
Kanye
to
getting
be
ratted
to
out
be
by his
completely
accountant.
no,
to the
like,
IRS.
to be completely serious here. Like, these guys hate their government, hate Sweden, hate crunch when it comes to video games, but then don't necessarily hate crunch when it comes to other things, and also hate unions. So I'm like,
8 unions, 8 the socialists.
8 Sweden, 8 unions, 8 socialists.
Look, to be fair,
oh
Bert,
yeah, and one
Like
I do
money,
remember one.
simple
So
as.
this should have been a red flag from the beginning. But one of them was constantly like, "Oh, the SJWs and shit." It's like,
What is
and he's
stuck in
constantly getting into
2014?
arguments of like culture war shit, and like even the server owner who thinks like, yeah, I think like private schools are a good idea, and like why would we even need like government stuff and shit like some of the times, or at least I can't remember the exact arguments he uses,
I
but
mean,
sometimes
it's the
he's like
same
very
talking points
pro
every
capitalism.
time.
Yeah, but like even him, he's like, bro, you gotta stop with the culture war bullshit. Like you're way too into it, man. Like even him, who's not even a righthood, but sometimes he does talk about like not on his streams, but like sometimes he does talk about like politics and whatnot. Even he's like very like, bro, you're just you drank too much of the culture war Kool-Aid.
I saw a very cool tweet today about somebody who said, basically ANCAPs are like cats, fully convinced of their own divinity, and yet entirely oblivious to the system that allows them to live the way they do.
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
Not entirely
That
wrong.
sounds about right.
Deep Cock Galactic.
Wait, who's playing Deep Rock Galactic?
The IDF is channeled.
Yoshi?
Was that a Cumtown bit? I remember that being a Cumtown bit.
I've got no fucking clue.
Oh shit. I miss Cumtown. Actually, the gay Obama thing was kind of a Cumtown moment yesterday. Because it was the funniest thing that had happened. It was just us saying gay Obama over and over. See, I'm still laughing about it.
Gay Obungo.
Hey, Bert, seeing as we were talking about cool games like Disco earlier, have you played a game called Citizen Sleeper?
No, I have not, but it is on my wish list, because apparently it is like Disco Elysium a lot.
I picked it up a little bit the other night. The system for it is weird, so like without spoiling like the actual
I actually
story.
have it. I own the game even. Yes.
Oh, okay. Like I played a little bit of it. I don't know much of what's going on, but like the system for it, right? Every quote unquote day, you basically just get a group of like 4 dice, which you can dedicate to actions. Like you just roll 4d6 at the beginning of the day, do shit throughout the day, and you can sacrifice dice to increase your chance at getting something done.
Yeah.
What is this called?
Citizen Sleeper. It's weird. It takes some getting used to, but it's interesting.
Is there more words coming?
No, that's it.
I find that pretty intuitive, actually. But then I've
I've got it
spent
wishlisted.
way too much time on game design.
Yeah, actually, talking game design, that's actually one other thing I can sometimes get annoyed about when it comes to Disco Elysium is, you know the meme with, whatchamacallit, XCOM, where it's like 99% chance to hit, you're right in front of someone with a sniper rifle, you shoot, and you fucking miss?
Yeah. It's 99%, not 100.
Yeah, but I get that. But that happens to me with checks in Disco before, and that really pissed me off.
I had to save scum to play through the game because I was at a point where to progress the story I needed to do a particular check, and there was just no experience points left anywhere on the map. And to retry a check, you need to upgrade that skill. So I had to save scum, otherwise I just would not have been able to play through the game.
I didn't get hard locked, but I did save scum twice. Once when I was talking to Kuno, and once when I was doing karaoke.
I never did karaoke.
Wait, there's karaoke in
I'm not a fucking idiot. But also, a lot of the failing a check things actually did allow me to find some very interesting, like to progress the story in more interesting ways. But I also get like sometimes, because it can get frustrating. Yeah.
Oh yeah. One other thing I did for the game is I did a straight edge playthrough.
Hell yeah. I mean, me too. Actually, I got off drugs.
Same.
Wait, you can do karaoke in Disco Elysium?
Yeah, you can do.
Yeah.
Yes, you definitely can and should.
Is that a fucking Yakuza reference? No, I'm kidding.
The Yakuzi's.
Yeah.
There's references to other games.
Actually, speaking of, I've managed to finish Yakuza 0. Holy shit, what a ride.
Oh, did you actually know? Did you know that the world of Disco Elysium is based on like a tabletop RPG world that the creators of Disco Elysium invented together?
Really? What is the name of this RPG?
It's not out. It doesn't exist.
Oh.
But they developed it privately and play it. I don't think it's Wirral, but because of Wirral, I got a 24-sided die.
I actually did get one from the Dice Maker too. She's one of my favorite.
No, I'm talking IRL.
Oh, okay.
I have a 24-sided die.
I didn't even know Wirral was a real thing.
It isn't a real thing.
Oh.
It is not.
Oh, you got like a custom 24-sided
No,
die.
you can.
Okay.
You can buy some. There's I got it was part of a whole pack. I asked the guy at my local game store if he had like a 24-sided die, and he said yes, but it's part of like a set of weird dice. So I have like a 7-sided die, a 32-sided die, now a bunch of like weird agglomerations of them. Mainly, I wanted the 24-sided Wirral die. But you could easily, like, make a game around that.
Yeah, like, legit, I think it wouldn't be that hard to just extrapolate from the gameplay itself.
I mean, the system that the game itself uses is robust.
Yeah.
It just doesn't rely on a 24-sided die. But
it just rolls on 2d6.
Yeah. But the, like, for instance, how D&D does it, that it has that particular array of dice that are part of its gameplay, that's not because those are, like, superior somehow.
It's just what works for that system.
Yeah, well, it's just what they picked, I'm pretty sure. Like, arbitrarily. Because, I mean, that's, like, one of the oldest things about D&D.
Yeah. You know, honestly, like, when it comes to rules light systems, right? I know this isn't a popular one, but I think one of my favorite dice to use for it is fudge dice.
Ooh, it really is an unpopular opinion.
Like, I'm sorry, it's an easy thing to get people in with, an easy thing to keep track of. You can even just use normal D6s for it.
I'm too enamored with the Powered by the Apocalypse setup. That array. I think it's too perfect.
Honestly, I don't really like PBETA very much.
How are you even alive?
I'm sorry, I don't like class systems.
Oh, you don't need to use class systems in PB. I mean, there's a lot of some games do. It's especially the early ones are fundamentally about like classes because they were very But it's very easy to like just pull them apart, make your own classes, and also, like City of Mist, for instance, it does not have classes at all.
I know that City of Mist doesn't, and that's fine. I've read PBTA before, and honestly, the archetype system is just a class system wearing a different hat.
I agree. That is something that has often put me off as well. But like the more I've gotten into PBTA, I mean it's great for one shots mainly, but also like I found that it's so easy to make your own classes, and also it's not like a necessary component of it.
Yeah,
you could, like, it actually adds something. You could, without throwing off the balance in a meaningful way, in most PBTA games, just pick moves from all of the different classes to advance your character. Like, it doesn't really... Most of those systems usually have, like, and this is one where you can just pick a move from another class if you feel like it.
I mean, to be fair, though, if I was going to go that far, I just play Fate Core.
No.
I like Fate. I'm sorry.
No. I have played Fate very often, and I have never liked it. I mean, I get that some people do, but I have never liked Fate. I've tried to get into it many times, and it just does not work for me. I don't even know what it is about it that I don't like.
Fair enough. I mean, for me, it's like... It's got all the easiness of PBTA, but you can just fit it all on an index card and just, make shit up.
Hey, that's how PBTA works too, though. Kinda. I mean, let's be serious. This is kind of the perspective that I have is, of course, someone who plays a lot of with a lot of newcomers, specifically RPGs, and it's I find it's a lot easier to give them like these are like moves that would be archetypal for your character. I feel like it requires a lot less intellectual, creative labor to do on like a one shot on a Wednesday night than Fate would. And then when it comes to doing something that is as versatile as Fate, I just prefer City of Mist and how they do it.
I guess. I mean, I can understand what you're saying there, because like if it's a bunch of new people who haven't really played RPGs in general, let alone tabletop too much, giving them archetypes to work within is probably going to help a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that in Fate too. It's just more convenient in PBTA.
Well, yeah, because, it's got that built into the system.
Yeah.
Whereas Fate, it's very, very freeform.
Yeah, I mean, I do... It is also, like, easier to make a freeform character in Fate than in, like... I am working on, like, a completely, agnostic version of City of Mist. Which, I mean, it's pretty much done. I'm just writing I'm currently doing stat blocks and shit.
God. Now that I got time again, I should probably get back on my Shadowrun Anarchy project, where I was taking all the stuff from Shadowrun Anarchy, right?
Yeah.
Taking the barest bits that I can and just filling it out, the gaps, with Fate Core. And so far it's been working okay. I just need to modify it a bit more and I need to do something with hacking to make it so that the hacker either doesn't take the limelight, or just I need to do something with hacking. Maybe make it like magic or something. I don't know.
Do you know what? I know this isn't like it doesn't work with the Shadowrun setting, but something that I really liked is what the successor to City of Mist is doing, Metro Otherscape, where hacking. I talked to you about this. Yeah. Basically, where it's like the whole party goes into cyberspace, and then the hacking is just like a dungeon.
Yeah, like, here's the thing. I like how that works for that system. I don't know if that would work for, like, anything else. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe the Sprawl or something, but I don't see that working very well in Shadowrun.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, it would be pretty much against the law.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't work. But I like the way they did it. And honestly, in a way, Metro Otherscape kind of feels like it might be able to fill that Shadowrun niche a little bit. It's definitely a competing product with it, because it also has that cyberpunk and magic thing combination.
Yeah.
Type deal.
Yeah, like
It's just-
going back on RPGs though.
Yeah.
As far as like class systems go, there's only two games I've played. Well, technically three, but I'm gonna say two that I've played that I actually like having class systems in. The first, and I know how this is gonna sound, D&D 3.5 / Pathfinder First Edition.
Incredible.
Just because there's like so much shit there that if you actually read through the books, you can find a combination of 2 or 3 things that'll build you exactly what you want. And the other is World of Darkness, because the way they do classes in World of Darkness is actually kind of nifty. I
mean,
like
it's not really. I wouldn't even call them classes, really.
Yeah. I mean, I call it class system, but that's because there's not really a better word for it.
What aspect are you referring to specifically? Like the clans, or just the fact that there's different ways that the characters work, depending on what kind of supernatural being that you are?
The latter, like how there's one for Wraith, one for Changeling, one for Vampire. You get the idea.
Yeah.
And technically, there's even 2 different books for humans, one for hunters and one for just average people.
Yeah. And also, one for gypsies.
There's also a book for playing a child as well.
That is a real thing, by the way, that really exists. It's called World of Darkness Gypsies, and it makes Romani people into fucking a type of supernatural creature. And it looks... I'm gonna post the cover of it, because this is really the...
I love how that was a thing.
When I was told this, I was like, there is no way this is real. There is no way they actually made this. Like, even knowing White Wolf, and even knowing that this was like the early 90s or the mid 90s, I was like, there is no way that this is real. But
I forget,
is.
Is White Wolf a European company, or are they an American company?
I'm pretty sure they're American. Let me look that up. They're defunct, too. They don't exist anymore.
You know, the thing that gets me the most about this is that even though it's racist fuck, the cover actually looks kind of legit good.
Yeah, if this was like a Nosferatu settlement or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically they were a merger. The headquarters are in... Oh, so they still exist, they just don't do Vampire anymore. Because they were purchased by Paradox. So their headquarters are apparently in Stockholm.
In Stockholm of all places, Jesus.
But the
always loops back to the Swedish.
Yeah, get them fucking
like
Swedes.
the people who founded it are all Americans. So like Mark Reinhagen, Steve
Buscemi.
Week and Stuart Week. And fucking Jonathan Tweet, who literally his name is Tweet, as in Twitter.
Nice. Hey, dude, you want to hear one of my favorite like tidbits of World of Darkness lore?
Yeah.
Have you read anything for Wraith the Oblivion at all?
I am currently doing that, actually. I think that's going to be my next deep dive into World of Darkness.
Nice.
Where I'm going to do the legions and the guilds in a single
Okay, so you've actually read up on the city, then?
The city, as such, not so much. I know about it. I know how it works. Like how it's like not loci. Like how it's not part of any like real world city, and how it's just like puzzle pieces of various different cities. Put down there together. Something I already don't like about it is that they basically were like, yeah, and now the game is over. The plot has finished. But clearly, wraiths are still a thing. in like Vampire 5 even. They're probably I think they might be, of all the game systems, they might be the one that has the most interaction with Vampire the Masquerade, because you like even so more so than Werewolf, because Werewolf, if a werewolf shows up, probably your party is just dead.
Unless you can get away somehow.
Yeah, because like werewolves are gonna fuck you up. So when you want to have a different kind of supernatural creature, the easiest one to work with in like the basic mechanical sense is ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my favorite bit from Wraith, though, it's not like I was bringing up the city because I wanted to bring up something else. Is you know the Soul Forge, right?
Yeah, I've read a bit about it. I don't know super much, but I understand the basic principle of it.
Yeah, the basic principle being like, they just use it to turn ghosts into objects that ghosts can use pretty much. And I love that essentially in this setting, if you become a shitty enough person, you can be punished by being turned into a chair for eternity while still being self-aware.
I mean, nobody knows if you're really self-aware, but,
I mean, if you sit on a chair, it moans in pain, so...
Officially, it destroys your consciousness.
But, yeah, the jacket moaning in eternal agony kind of brings that into question.
To be fair, there is also, even like in the main mage book, a classic spell where you can turn a vampire into a lawn chair.
Wait, there is?
Yeah. It's like a joke that happened at some point. Because, of course, in terms of like the game mechanics, you can do that. And you can like literally do anything in mage.
Good. Talking of like joke shit, right? There was this thing that I saw a long time ago. It was a one-shot that Catalyst Game Labs dropped as an April Fool's thing.
Yeah.
But I really want to see this fleshed out. Is they did something called, I think it was called Battle Run 3077 Best of the Best or something like that. And it was a mashup of the setting for Shadowrun and BattleTech.
Uh-huh.
And it's fucking wild. Like, some of the dragons actually have like complete control over different groups. Like, what was it? Lofweir actually has complete control over House Steiner, which is great. It's fucking weird, dude, and I like it. But that's just because I really like weird, hard sci-fi with no alien settings, so BattleTech's always kind of spoke to me.
Shadowrun already has has aliens.
Well, I mean, it's got fantasy and shit, though. It's a cyberpunk site. How would I put this?
In Shadowrun.
Yeah. Look, I'm talking about something completely different, though. Like, how would I put this?
I know what you mean, though. I'm just trying to fuck with you.
Yeah, god damn it.
There is actually an official 8th world setting. I don't know if there's also a system for Shadowrun. So like a far future one where magic has returned in like the far future. Because Shadowrun is the 6th world, and then the 7th world is going to have no magic again, and then the 8th world is once again going to have magic. Much like there's one for the 4th world, which is called Earth Dawn, that's actually pretty fleshed out.
What year is the 8th world supposed to be in anyway? Is it like 30 or something?
It's very far future. Actually, let me Mayan calendar cycle. We can look this up.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, Berg, have you read anything about the setting of BattleTech or no?
I know that it has mechs, but I play Lancer instead, and that really
fair enough.
To me.
The setting itself is interesting to me. It's like, how would I put this? Imagine the modern military-industrial complex, but if it was backing up a weird combination of the Holy Roman Empire and the United Nations.
Yeah, I know that.
But it's in space.
I do think that's cool. I like the lore of BattleTech. I don't like the mechanics.
Yeah, no, I don't either. It's like, I've tried. Axos tried to get me into it before. It's like, it's cool. I love the setting. I love the aesthetic, but I can't keep up with the actual gameplay. It's way too mechanics heavy for me.
So years. Okay, yeah. What is the
like? Okay, have you ever read about the Clanners before?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, honestly though, BattleTech is kind of cool. Like, have you heard some of String Storm's fucking metal songs about fucking BattleTech? That shit is, bruh. I'm not in depth on BattleTech lore, but holy shit! Like, there's songs like,
yeah. Most of my BattleTech lore has been picked up through Black Pants Legion, so
14th Buck 2.
Yeah, me too.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, it's like, but yeah, Berg, there is like a weird, interesting group. Is that there was this how would I put it? Without getting into extreme details, there was a civilization that got started when an army decided to basically just fuck off into deep space and colonize the world for themselves, and they formed this weird military culture that it feels, how would I put this? It feels like a weird combination of the Roman Empire, the CCP, and the Mongol Khanate.
Yeah.
And it's like this hyper honor and battle fixated culture that it's so fucking weird.
It's so fucking cool too.
It is.
It is apparently called Meta Equinox.
I really do need to get into BattleTech lore, to be honest. I do have a lot of books for BattleTech on my wish list, but I just haven't bought them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they figured out how to put mages in space without, going insane by the 8th world, or no?
I think it's a completely different approach to it. Because there's like no magic in space, but you can just change that.
Actually, speaking of
because this is a new
stories,
cycle of magic, so magic has disappeared in the meantime.
I want to ask you guys a question about world building and stories and whatnot. Has there ever kind of been a story where it's like it's in a very dark setting? Like normally where you would always get these kind of like very defeatist kind of endings, right? Or very depressing kind of endings, like either not necessarily edgy endings, but it's like, oh well, the main character died to like save his brothers in arms and shit, or it's like the mother sacrificed herself to feed her family, that kind of shit. Like, yeah, those are I'm guessing very regular kind of endings, but like, are there any kind of endings where it's like it's bittersweet because like a lot of the characters have died, a lot of the characters you kind of followed have died, but like the two main characters or like the single main character has gotten his sort of happy ending, even though everybody else is like gone or like their wish hasn't been able to be fulfilled?
I'm not entirely sure I understand what you're referring to.
Like, actually, yes, this is a bittersweet ending, but is there like kind of like cyberpunk stories where there's like a very bittersweet ending to it? Or it's like,
I mean, the most recent one I can think of was Edge Runners.
Cyberpunk stories are not characterized by their bittersweet endings. That's just something that they sometimes have.
Yeah.
Well,
there's like Neuromancer. Neuromancer has a bittersweet ending.
Which I have never read, actually.
I need to watch or read Neuromancer one of these days.
It's the seminal piece of, like, sci-fi. It is fucking cyberpunk. It is the cyberpunk novel, and I've never read it. I bought a book once by the same guy. I'm looking at it right now, by William Gibson. that I thought it was Neuromancer because I was still reading in German back then. But it wasn't. And it sucked. It was so fucking boring.
Yeah, he, is it the one where the guy, where there's a guy, it's like set in like, or no, it's set like in the 70s or 80s, and he's not an archaeologist, he's a historical journalist, and he's like exploring all these old, like, abandoned, like, Art Deco buildings.
Uh-huh.
And then, he meets this woman, and how does it go? It's a really weird story.
This one that I'm referring to is Spook Country. Spook Country.
Oh, I never read that one. No, the story I'm thinking of is about how he feels like really shitty. He feels really empty because he's like all he's doing is just like combing through the past, that's been abandoned, and he sees all these other.
Why did you become an archaeologist then, you fucking twat?
Yeah. It's I think he had reasons. I think he wasn't expecting to get so depressed over it. And he notices how happy other people are, and he meets this woman, and he's really infatuated with her, and starts going out with her. And he realizes the only reason she's happy is basically she doesn't have a soul. Like, she just goes home and does nothing at home, and the only time she lives her life is when she's out among people. And he sees it everywhere, that people all around him, that they're basically like shellless aliens.
That is
and
wild.
then, yeah. He doesn't call it a soul. It's like something else. It's like, yeah, the only time she's like expressive or doing anything is when she's out in public among people, and when she's home, just nothing. There's just nothing there. It's a really weird
because
story.
there are people who just they don't have, but they're unhappy generally, like who just cannot be by themselves because like, they have no idea what to do.
I think it might because he's put out a few short story and like essay collections. I think it might have been a short story that I read, because it wasn't that deep and it wasn't that long. Because eventually that's what he becomes. He dies on the inside and becomes one of those people. It's actually kind of a sad
I love that that's
ending.
just an option.
I kind of feel like William Gibson was kind of a one-hit one. His essays and short stories are okay. I think he hit it out of the park with Neuromancer, because his other stuff hasn't been that good.
Well, but he's been very successful with his other books nonetheless, like Johnny Mnemonic. Pretty fucking big one.
Right, yeah. I think it was really helped by the movie.
Yeah. I also think that was one of his short stories, actually. Wait, no, the Sprawls I think is a different one. The Sprawl is the actual Neuromancer books, which again I have not read.
You've not read them, Burger? Gasp.
So yeah, there's a lot of
they sound pretty nice. I'll definitely.
I mean, they're like the basically the foundational works of the cyberpunk genre. So I reckon that probably perhaps to a modern cyberpunk audience, they would feel similar to the way that Tolkien books feel to a modern fantasy audience. You know what I mean?
Oh! You want to know how bad Neuromancer's aged, like, culturally? The very first line of Neuromancer what was it? He said the skies of Tokyo looked like a TV set to a dead channel.
That
And
rocks.
the only
That line fucking rocks.
yeah, but that would only make sense if you knew what what dead channel on an analog TV would look like.
I mean, that is true, but I wouldn't necessarily put that into like having aged poorly culturally. Though I know what you mean.
Probably not.
In terms of it being, it doesn't translate well.
But then it picks right back up, and it picks right back up with how forward thinking he was with the book, because he talks about a bar where there's like a Ukrainian bartender with a cybernetic arm, and there was a woman from South Africa, at the bar and stuff, and it's like that was talking about like this hyper multinational multiculturalism, in Tokyo. That was something in 1983. That was something that wasn't really done before. Was focusing on like all these different kinds of people mingling and mixing together.
Star Trek?
What's that?
Star Trek?
Oh, right.
I mean, it's rare, but like Star Trek, though?
I mean, in like a cool way, like a realistic way.
Yeah, I mean it was less of a like hyper utopian type deal, I suppose.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's an unrealistic concept nowadays because Japan.
I mean, for Japan specifically, maybe that was the. But there's a lot of cities like that.
There is. It's just Tokyo is not one of them.
Well, and also like early 1980s, having it focused in Japan, that was also a big deal because at the time, like a lot of the West, like Western Europe and the United States, were kind of afraid of Japan.
Oh yeah, it was kind of like what China is today.
Yeah.
The resurgence of like war crimes Japan, is that it?
No, it's they're gonna be the new world superpower, and they're gonna rule the world.
Actually, I don't have a prediction, but like I want you guys to tell me how wrong I am on this. But like I feel like the next superpower could be Israel.
No,
I don't see it.
No, I don't.
You cannot be serious about that.
No, you have to be joking.
This has to be a troll.
No, I'm just like I want to see. I genuinely want to see, like, could it be possible?
No. There's literally zero chance of that happening. First of all, this is what fucking Chris is saying. Israel is entirely dependent geopolitically on the United States. Completely.
Yeah, that's the only reason Israel is relevant.
Yeah. It's tiny. Like you can I'm pretty sure you can. Let me actually take the measurements of this.
I want to go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm measuring something.
Okay, like to give you an idea of like how much like here in the United States Japan was feared in like the 1980s and early 90s. My dad he bought a new car. He bought like a second car. So that's how you know it was in the 80s. It's like, oh, we gotta have a second car. He bought a second car, and it was a Honda Civic. And
Civics, man.
And you could have, like, when my aunts and uncles found out, it was like he, like, shot grandma. They were so angry at him for buying Japanese.
Goodness.
It's like that scene in Mad Men where fucking John Slattery's character is like, I'm not going to work with them. I used to fight war against them in the Second World War. Yeah. Now, Israel is so fucking small, you can drive the entire length of it. This is the length of it, like the long part, in 5.5 hours. And this is even considering not driving into the West Bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because a big thing policy you need to consider with superpowers is that it's not just the biggest countries, like in terms of landmass. It's the fact that these are countries that have access to resources within their own borders. You look at the Soviet Union, China, United States. It's a combination of size, population, and resources,
At its
and the
broadest
ability
point,
to defend it all.
At its broadest point, you could walk across the width of Israel in 22.5 hours. It is a tiny fucking country.
Wait, how long did you say?
22.5 hours to walk.
To walk. Okay, yeah. I thought you said
that
to drive
in less than an hour and a half.
Wait a second. Yeah, because you said walk. I somehow interpreted that as drive for the first time you said it. I was like, wait.
Like this is why the Israelis are so bellicose. Because like if they get invaded, they can't fall back on anything. It's just like when Russia gets invaded, they're like, well, we're just going to retreat for 5,000 kilometers and burn land behind us. People will die in winter. Israel has no such ability.
It's like, fall back to what? The fucking West Banks?
Yeah, but also the only natural resource that Israel has is like holy sites and war crimes. That's the two things that you can get there.
Yeah, well, you can also buy an Iron Dome, apparently, but
don't forget, I think they have some good medical stuff. Oh yeah,
they're a high-tech nation, but they're not anywhere near a superpower. Like, superpowers buy shit from them, but like, the United States also buys weapon systems from manufacturers from all over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, the US military uses German-made guns.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd say that there's more chance of, like, within the next 100 years, there's, like, a better chance of Canada becoming a superpower.
They're trying to make it to, I think, 10 million people?
Well, they have, like, what was it, the 100 million plan?
It was 100 million.
Yeah,
They want to... It's a Northwest Passage thing where they want to, like, have all their people... like, living in the part of Canada that nobody wants to live because it fucking sucks there.
I think they're doing the Russia gamble, whereas, like, Canada pretends to care about climate change, whereas Russia just doesn't give a shit because it means more of their land will be useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although Russia specifically has been having some problems with... There's, like, when you're in Siberia, there's areas where there's just holes.
Yeah.
There's just explosions, and that's probably because of, like, methane. But because Siberia is so big, like, no one has ever witnessed this.
Well, somebody probably nobody's ever talked to them.
Yeah, they probably are in Israel now. They were blown up into the sky and then landed in Israel.
I remember hearing this story... from the Soviet Union. It's probably a legend, probably not true, but the story goes that some geologists were somewhere in Siberia or the Far East, and they had like found gold like in a river, coming off the river, and so they were going down river trying to hunt down like where it was coming from. Because, hey, possible, gold mine. And they found this dude just living out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And and they stayed with him, and they found out he had, like, 20, like, wolf pelts that he had, left in the river to, like, soak. And they were completely encrusted gold.
Jeez.
And that's how they were able to find the gold mine. Was his gold and wolf pelts.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, that sounds like a legend, but still cool.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
viable, I suppose. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a funny story that for some reason this reminded me of, even though it has nothing to do with it. On a whim, I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet. I checked behind my fridge because my fridge is up against a wall. It's not behind. It's like to the right side of my fridge for mold, and I found a lot of it, like black mold, white mold, really like toxic.
Oh, that's not good.
Toxic, yeah, that's in this room that I have spent most of my time for the past 7 years.
Jesus, that's gotta be creepy.
I used to sleep here, like not 2 meters away from that shit. So I moved my fridge a little bit, and then I have like a really powerful mold remover that I had to apply. It's usually you apply it like to a surface once, and then after like 10 minutes, it's completely clean, like it never had any mold. That's the level of shit that it is. And then for like years, no mold will form on it again. I had to apply it 10 times to get rid of the mold.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
I'm pretty sure now there's no mold is going to grow there ever again because probably the walls are saturated with this anti-mold shit. But yeah, I really wonder what kind of health problems I'm going to have because of that somewhere down the line.
You should probably go to a pulmonologist or something.
Yeah, you might want to have your lungs looked at so that way, just...
That is probably a good idea, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't have any... I think I'm having long COVID because I've been coughing for like a month without having COVID. So I must have had COVID at some point asymptomatically again, and then, just this happened.
Yeah, because actually I have that happened to me where I was roommates with a guy. It was his house, and he let me stay there. This is when I was a truck driver then, and I noticed that every time I came home, like after like the first night, I just felt like tired all the time and just felt like shit. Yeah. But when I went back out on the road, I felt a lot better, and I didn't know what was going on. Eventually, I moved out, and I started feeling better all the time. And yeah, it was because there was black mold. There was black mold on bases.
I feel like that sometimes. Like for the past couple of years, where I'm like, I'm at other people's places, and I feel almost more energetic. I'm like out, I want to do shit. I come back from the walk where I feel really inspired to do shit. Immediately, I sit down, and I'm like, it would be crazy if that's what had been happening these past 7 years.
Dude,
yeah.
Like I would have been like handicapped. Imagine what my true power level is.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it was like for me. It's like I'd come home. Let's say I come home Thursday morning feeling great. Want to do all this shit. On my time off, and then by like Saturday night, I'm just like, oh fuck this. And then like Sunday, I just wouldn't want to feel like doing anything. And then like Monday, go to head back out, and then like by the end of the day, Monday, I'm like, fuck, got all this energy now, but I'm working.
Yeah.
And the roommate, he was just always a real chill dude, so I didn't really notice it with him, but he was probably feeling the same way as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
that's why
I want to go clean.
Because I remember years ago, right, seeing that patch of mold, but thinking it was just the place where the guy had stopped painting the room. behind the fridge because it was behind the fridge. So what's the point? But no, this horrible color scheme, which, as you might notice, includes neither black nor white. Well, that still wasn't there. That's on there.
Jesus,
Usually.
Berg.
I'd say you check other places as well. Like check your vents.
I don't have vents. I don't have vents.
Oh, you have radiators. Well, check around where the water comes in, and try to check behind the radiators if you can.
I know that there's a lot of dust behind the radiators, but the radiators are like dry as shit.
But anywhere where there's a chance of moisture. So like definitely check the bathroom. Just give it a look over.
Oh yeah, I know there's moldy spots in the bathroom, but I am pretty aggressive in policing those. There used to be mold on basically the sides of my window pretty severely. Like back when I was incredibly depressed, there was a lot of mold here. And then eventually that's how I discovered that stuff. Because now I just like maybe once a year I spray those places because of, you know, the insulation is weird and like keeps in the moisture, and I'm gonna probably have to do my blinds again soon, but it's especially in the bathroom, it's very manageable. I've never found any in the bedroom. The only thing that I do notice about the bedroom is that it's always incredibly dry. Like, the air is unbelievably dry.
Yeah, that's how it is in my apartment as well, is that it's always so dry. But, you know, I kind of, now that I'm thinking about it, I have a completely unscientific hypothesis, but I'm wondering if this is how, like, you go on the Twitter and Tumblr and you just see, like, the depression rooms where it's just there's so much garbage.
It's definitely a factor that makes it worse. A lot of, like, especially about depression, is, you know.
Yeah, that's something if it compounds. It's like, you know, you get depressed, you don't clean, and then, like, mold starts to form, you breathe in the mold, you lose energy, you get more depressed, you don't clean.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wondering if it's, that could be something. I wonder if that's ever been looked into.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is why I say that Jordan Peterson has a point when he says clean your room. You know, it's not just that; it's also like a clean environment is good for your health and your energy levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like you see those same posts, and it's like, you know, the person finally gets the energy and motivation to clean up, and then they clean it all up and they feel like 1,000,000,000 times better, you know. And it's like, and they tend to feel better for longer. So yeah, that it could be that, you know, that, you know, on top of the depression and the clutter, you know, the feeling of being too cluttered and everything's dirty, you know, the mold could be one of the many reasons as well.
Yeah. I mean, the spot behind the fridge, it makes sense why it would be moldy. There is a lot of moisture there because the fridge is right next to it. I wouldn't expect it to be in other places.
Yeah. Well, see how you feel.
Yeah.
Like in the coming weeks. You know, I'm not saying you will feel better, but it'd be interesting to notice it.
In terms of placebo, I do already feel better, but you know.
Yeah. That makes me think it's like, holy hell, because there's this one channel I follow on TikTok, and it's the dude who sends electrical signals through mushrooms.
Oh yeah,
and different kinds of fungus.
You may have found that channel through me, or I through you.
Oh yeah, either or. But it just makes me think, it's like, god damn, how fucking weird and powerful fungus is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's basically like some of the largest organisms in the world are fungus.
Yeah. I mean, It's one of the most baffling kingdoms. It's the most baffling kingdom of life of all of them because they're weird.
Yeah.
They especially their interactions with the human body, where they can make you allergic to your own body while at the same time seamlessly integrating with it without causing any sort of allergic reaction, even though it's a completely different kingdom of life.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the kind of space that they live in.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember your mushroom video. Holy shit, that was a good one.
Yeah, I really like that
Actually-
series. Next video coming out is actually of the system agnostic stuff series also.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that reminds me. Like, I've been floating around a few ideas in my head. I haven't talked about it to anyone at the moment, but feel free to steal them. To be honest, like, I always get these ideas, but I'm always like, if someone hears them, just go fucking run with it. I don't think it's not necessarily that I don't think I have the talent. It's just sometimes I just don't have the time for this shit. So I'm
Ideas
just
are
like,
cheap.
ideas are cheap, but implementing them aren't.
Yeah.
But like, this is like, yeah, kind of stealing your ideas on like how to make fungus a bit more epic in like tabletop. But like, imagine different sizes of fungus, and they, just kind of had different, not necessarily different jobs, but like they had different attributes. Not even just in between series, in between individual funguses themselves. You know.
I do not know, actually. I'm not entirely sure what you're referring to.
But like, they have different kind of, not necessarily abilities, but like they're all kind of fuck, all kind of unique in their own kind of separate way, like individually. But yet they work in a very kind of like, not necessarily a hive mind, but like in a very hive-like structure.
Oh, so like basic specialization. That's already how
They're-
it works for many fungi.
Yeah, but they're like, so I can't seem to explain this, and I feel like this is the COVID ruining it for me. But like, they have a hive mind structure, right? But they can act very individualistic.
So like the Geth.
Is that like fucking Mass Effect?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got no clue who the fucking Geth are.
They're the
Yeah, they're
robot people.
Yeah, the robot people from Mass Effect. They're a hive mind of like consensus.
All right.
Where they create consensus among themselves.
That's all they do.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, literally, they're like, oh yeah, we want to build a Dyson sphere so we can just hang out all. Because they're virtual, they're not like robot people. They're actually just software, and they're just gonna upload themselves into this like Dyson sphere and be having
yeah, bro.
consensus all the
I
time.
mean that.
Like
I mean
that's-
that. To be fair, that's kind of like, it's not. I don't
Sounds
know how to
pretty
explain it,
fun.
but that it does sound kind of cool. Fuck it up.
You said hive mind consensus, and that just reminds me there's an SCP that exists that it's a socialist commune of insects and arthropods,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
what it is it's this set of bushes like out in California, and it's home to like thousands of insects and spiders that all work together communally, and they can actually communicate with humans through writing. And every time like the SCP, like the researchers try to talk to them, all they want to talk to them about is theory. And the only reason they can figure out why they're doing that is that they investigated the bush and they found the dead body of a hiker, and in his backpack he had like the Communist Manifesto,
My goodness.
Festo, and like all these other like socialist literature, and apparently the anomaly is that these bugs are capable of reading and communicating with humans, and because of that, this was like the first literature they read, and because of that, they became like a socialist communist society.
Damn.
Freaking epic, man.
I mean, yes, that's cool. But it actually, I mean, to understand Das Kapital, or no, actually, is it the Manifesto or Das Kapital? Because you need to have a bit like pre-established. They should give them Twitter. Honestly, they should develop an interface to have those ants on Twitter.
I forgot what all the books were. It's one of the early SCPs. I have to go back and look and read and look at it and tell you, because I think they did have like a list of pamphlets and books that were on the guy when he died.
Nice.
But yeah,
socialist hiker.
But like their lead, the leader of the commune is like this huge like wolf spider, and like he's like the one designated to communicate with the SCP researchers.
I love that the hive mind has a leader like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just so happens to be like the largest spider.
Yeah.
Not any of the insects. A spider. Yeah.
Speaking of spiders, did any of you read fucking Children of Time?
I've got it. I still need to read it.
It is so
Not at all. I've never even heard of it.
It's gonna be if that isn't a sci-fi classic in 20 years, I'm going to.
Didn't they release
genocide.
a sequel to it?
Oh well, yes, I haven't read that one. It's apparently also very good, but like Children of Time alone is just absolutely brilliant.
Man, I need to read that.
Yeah.
You know something else I need to read again? 34
What?
Worlds by Woody and Weber.
That sounds fucking gay, dude. That sounds like a terrible book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you, Chief.
I don't know. I kind of
very
liked it.
Hey, Berg, I found something that just screams Disco Elysium.
Oh boy.
Is it
Give
a literal Disco Elysium?
No, look at this shit. I just posted it in the studio.
Difficult because it's a video, but I guess I can. Oh, okay, there's no copyright or anything on this. Oh, I like this kind of retro technology. I came up with an idea like this for a very different kind of magical communication system. Where it's like a fucking IRC chat room, but they use typewriters.
That would be lit.
Yeah. I like this. This is really cool. And it does have the Disco Elysium aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That fucking rocks.
Oh yeah, that is fucking cool.
Immensely wasteful, but also very cool.
Dude, imagine, like, generating a fantasy novel by just playing, what the fuck was that game called again? Gork or something?
What?
You know what I'm talking Zorg, yeah. Just imagine
Yeah.
generating a fantasy novel by playing Zorg on this thing for 2 hours.
Actually, there's that. What was that? The AI dungeon. That AI dungeon game. I've heard people use that to like work out campaigns and stuff.
Yeah.
You could use that to
Pretty
do.
nice.
Yeah, you could probably use that to flesh out a fantasy title.
Perhaps.
The what? You can use what?
Ayo, Foreign, you got Anburgered again.
You
got
can use
and
what to
quoted
do
again.
what? To make a fantasy what?
There's a game called AI Dungeon.
Yeah.
It's for free on the
yeah.
web.
Oh, yeah, I've tried that. It has the same problem that a lot of AI does. It has immense difficulty with context and coherence.
Okay. I
that
played it a
may
little
actually
bit.
be a significant impasse. I mean, that's probably going to be a problem. Which is why I'm pretty sure that like being a writer is relatively safe, as far as like artist professions are concerned, is that AI really struggles with coherence and context, because a lot of its reasoning is algorithm based instead of heuristics based, which just creates a much larger data set that it considers, and so it runs into, it brings up shit that it doesn't need to bring up.
Yeah, although this leads to a thing that, I don't know if there's people out there doing this, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is. Okay, I'm sure by now everyone's seen, the fuck ton of people just using Stable Diffusion to make porn, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm on this, I'm on a Discord server, for where people discuss Disco Elysium shit, and it's all porn. It is all pornography. It's like, oh, I'm training this model to do porn. Are you training it to do porn? Are you training it to do porn? Yes, you are. Yes, that's exactly what you're doing.
And something that I wouldn't be surprised if I'm going to see if we see more and more people doing is just getting enough of a basic grasp of stuff like Photoshop or GIMP that they can just shit out a fuck ton of stuff of pornographic images through Stable Diffusion and just clean them up so that they look realistic or good enough. So that way it doesn't have 6 fingers on one hand or some shit.
Yeah. Also, Stable Diffusion itself is going to become better and more sophisticated.
Well, obviously, I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see a generation of people just doing that, basically.
Something that I really look forward to is when it comes to upscaling and raising the quality of stuff for old movies.
Oh, that'll be fucking great.
A lot of those have resolution and audio stuff that I just cannot get over because I'm very finicky with that kind of shit. But you'll be able to watch Bridge on the River Kwai in legitimate 4K and ultra HD sound.
Yeah, I mean they already tried that with they've already started trying that method for old video game cinematics that are getting remasters.
Yeah.
The prominent example for me is Command and Conquer the remaster.
Oh yeah.
Where they upscaled everything.
Well, they did that because they lost the master.
The original, yeah. They lost the originals, which was kind of a shame, but oh well. I will say I do like them, though I prefer the old ones. I prefer seeing oh yeah, full on jank, bits everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't mind that in old games. If you can't upscale, I say if you want to introduce that AI shit, do, but leave us the original sources at the very least. That way we can choose to swap it.
I mean, a lot of that kind of aesthetic is an aesthetic that a lot of modern video games still run with. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be worried.
I want to see AI upscaling just not only for old movies, but just for old footage of just beaches and just regular things.
I follow a YouTube channel that does this, but it doesn't it's upscaled and it's very smooth. It's on 60 FPS, but the way that the colorization works is very weird and disconcerting and not realistic at all. So the AI that actually colorizes the footage needs a lot of work. But in terms of adding adding in the missing pieces as opposed to coming up with very contextual creative work, it's very good at that.
Well, it's I'm thinking of I forgot the name of it, but there's a video on YouTube where it was New York in 1985 taken with a high quality film camera.
Yeah.
And it looks so good and realistic and smooth.
Yeah.
And it's just of the streets of New York City in 1985. It's I'd love to see upscaling on film reels of New York in 1912 or something. or like San Francisco in like 1912 or like 1930, 40, 50. You
Now you
know,
gotta use
I think
AI
that
upscaling for all the grainy 240p porn
Oh
that
God.
you have on your hard drive.
No.
Imagine, I mean, that's a whole new world. I literally sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna download this because I can't watch it, but one day we will have the technology, and I will be able to enjoy this.
I remember like way back in like the 2000s, like somebody was saying like, oh, HD is just gonna ruin porn because everybody's gonna see all the blemishes and everything on the actors, and it's like that didn't really happen. It just now like amateur porn is just way more popular now.
Yeah. All right. The stream time has been reached. The limit of the stream. It's we're at the end.
Yeah.
Indeed, it has.
Folks, we're fucking done. See you around cons.
Leave me alone.